In wrestling, we have the Little Gaston 3A champion, Gaston. From Forest View, we have Colin Munson, Coach Andrew Thorne. From East Gaston, we have Jacob Gregg, Coach Scott Doyle. Holding swimming championship, we have South Point 3A champion Mary Ellen Ferguson. And coach, golf championship, we have Forest View 3A champion Will Long. Will Blaylock. Not with us tonight, but I do want to recognize two other young athletes for their championship achievement, which is Cherryville High School 2A champion Trent Friday and Gaston Independent School 2A Archer Price. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be a part of this event each year. It's being here only 10 months at this event. This is my first event, and I'm truly impressed with the manner in which you support this event and recognizing and cherishing the memories of athletes in Gaston County. So, hope you enjoy your evening, and we're looking forward to having more of this for a long time to come. Thank you so much.
We have a number of special recognitions that I would like to make, and if you would, there's several categories: high school, college, coaches, and if you would hold your applause until I give you the signal, I think that's a good way to recognize the various groups. First of all, in the middle school, we have Greer Middle School coaches. When I call your name, would you please stand? Mitch Allen, Tyson Graham, David Warren, Guy Spader, Tracy Barnett. The Knights won county championships in football, wrestling, basketball, and track this year. Congratulations, Greer Middle School. We have a who's who of high school football coaches with us tonight, and a basketball coach as well. And again, I'm going to ask that you would stand and be recognized, and then you'll give applause again for the entire group. So if you would, stand, and as they say, stay stood. Beginning with Bruce Martin from Providence Independence Day High School, Michael Palmetti. Mickey Lineberger from South Point High School, Steve Gardner from Hunter Huss High School, Chris Medlin from Forest View High School, Greg Lloyd from Kings Mountain High School, Ben McMillan from Stuart Kramer High School, Greg Hill from Ashbrook High School, Mike Patton from Gaston High School. All of these are football coaches. And then we have Ty Bumgardner, head basketball coach at Olympic High School. Please give these people a wonderful round. Next, I'd like to recognize the college coaches from various colleges. Again, I would ask that you stand and stay standing. And then we will applaud at the end. First, I'd ask the coaches from Belmont Abbey to stand, please. All right. Great. And from Gardner-Webb University, we have present tonight with us Carol McCrae, head football coach, Dale Steele, assistant football coach, Woody Fish, former player and head coach for the Bulldogs. From Lenore-Rhine University, we have Mike Houston, head football, Jack Huss, former head coach, Scott Crawford and Michael Porter at Lenore-Rhine, and current athletic director Neil Beach-Legagey and several of Scott Crawford's former teammates at Lenore-Rhine. Please, all of you stand. We have former North Carolina basketball star and a member of the Tar Heels 1982 National Championship team that played Sleepy Floyd and the Georgetown Hoyas for the NCAA title, Matt Doherty. Please stand. And we have Kevin Lavin from Duke University, who is Chief of Staff for the football program. Please give all these fine coaches and athletes. It is now my pleasure to call forward Matt Dow, who will present the Benny Cunningham Fan of the Year Award. Matt is a member of the 2002 State Championship football team at Ashbrook. He teaches at Ashbrook, and he is on the football coaching staff. So Matt, if you would come forward, please.
I'd like to thank everybody for it's an honor to present this tonight. Thank everybody for putting this on the sponsor. Start off, good evening. Start off by defining what a fan is. Okay, this is straight out of the dictionary. The fan is enthusiastic devotee, usually is a spectator. I'm going to tell you a little about a man that's seen the word fan of the year. At a young age, he only scored 2 points playing sports, and they were on his own basket. His lack of success in athletics did not keep him away from sports. He contributed in many ways. Throughout the years, he has cooked and served many meals for Ashbrook football, filmed countless games, and fixed numerous bowls. You would never guess he graduated from the school across town. As an example of his devotion can be witnessed by the fact he attended Ashbrook's first game of the season after having knee surgery 3 days before. If you would know him, you know he had to supervise the person filling in for him. The very next week, he was back filming. If he is not helping Ashbrook High School, you might see him helping at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He spends countless hours organizing, supervising shuttle bus drivers for fans at the Speedway. The Knights of Columbus receives all the money made by volunteers. Once again, his devotion to the Knights pays off for many organizations in our community that receive monies from Council 6700. In closing, he has put others before self his entire life. He has made numerous sacrifices for others and will continue to serve others for years to come. Tonight, I would like for you to join me in honoring my dad, Charlie Dowd. Thank you, President.
And I would ask Captain Andrew Reinhardt to come forward to make the David Poole Service Award. Captain Reinhardt led us in the pledge. I want to tell you about Captain Reinhardt. He graduated from South Point High School in 2005. He was fifth in his class. He was a member of the 2003 3A State Championship football team. He was a North Carolina Shrine Bowl team selection in 2004. He attended the United States Military Academy at West Point class of 2009. He's currently serving as a captain in the 101st Airborne Division, and he has been deployed to Kunar Province, Afghanistan from July 2010 to May 2011, where he served in extensive combat. He has represented the 101st Airborne Division in the 2012 Best Ranger competition in the U.S. Army to test top physical, mental, and military schools. You know what? Can we just give a standing ovation?
I like to envision that it was at this moment that my father realized that athletics was not his true calling. He found his true passion in life's work in the humble service to others. My father first came to Gaston County in 1985 when he joined South Point Family Practice as a family physician. He has enjoyed serving his community since in several capacities, students from the University of North Carolina. However, Floyd's most notable achievement for tonight is the work he has done with South Point High School and Gaston County athletics. For the past dozen years or so, my father has served on the sidelines of almost every home and away South Point High School football game as the attending physician. His coverage extended to not only varsity games, but also many JV games. He has proudly volunteered in giving countless high school sports physicals to Gaston County athletes. He has even been known to respond to phone calls from a distressed player or coach in need of a last-minute physical as the buses are loading for South Point's annual Mars Hill training camp. Whether treating a referee's broken arm, hiding a helmet from a coach, or serving as a calming influence to an injured player, my father has finally found his niche in the athletic community through his service. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce the recipient of the 2013 David Poole Service Award, my father, Dr. David A. Reinhardt.
I just want to spend 1 minute thanking all of you who are involved in athletics in our community. And I give every facet of the community, which is particularly also supporters, boosters, teachers, administrators, parents. I think athletics, when we do it right, is such an important thing for our youth, for our community, for our young people. We not only the fitness aspects of the athletics that we do, but certainly the development of our young people, the character development, the training. When we do this right, we nurture the good competitive spirit among ourselves, our youth, and we teach them how to win and how to lose, self-discipline, team sports. They learn how to do something bigger than themselves. So I've enjoyed playing my small role in this effort, and I applaud all of you who are involved in athletics and helping our youth in their development. Thank you very much.
Scotty Montgomery, Duke University Associate Head Football Coach, to come forward to introduce our featured speaker. Mr. Montgomery.
Wow, this is, you guys know how to do this thing the right way, you not coach. Growing up, I grew up, I'm a Cleveland County native, which is right next door, and my father used to constantly tell me I am extremely blessed to grow up in the county right next to the best county in the entire world. So now I know exactly what he's talking about. This is phenomenal. I think this has got to be the cleanest and most well-run program that we've been a part of. It's been awesome to be here so far. Well, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Scott, Crawford, Francis, Essic, Buddy Green, and Sleepy Floyd. Growing up as a young man in the county next door, what you realize you hear all these legends, urban legends. Most of them came from my uncles that were lying about scoring 2 points on them. They never read in my life. I'm happy that I get a chance tonight to meet him and call them and confirm that he's never met them. I don't know if I'm more happy for you guys tonight, inductees. Congratulations for everyone else that's in the building. And the reason why I'm extremely happy for everyone else who's in the building is I get the pleasure to introduce our head ball coach at Duke University, David Cutcliffe. Most people know him from being an Alabama native and coming directly from the bloodline of great coach, Coach Bryant, mentor, and great coach in his business. He's also been around some unbelievable quarterbacks that a lot of people have heard of. He coached not only coached him in college, but to this day, he's not getting paid for it, but is still coaching. Of course, I'm talking about Peyton D-Line Manning, both both Super Bowl champions and MVP players, but he has also had the ability to coach 7 other quarterbacks in the National Football League. The latest would be Sean Redfrey, who just came off a stellar season for us at Duke University. Coach Cut is definitely an unbelievable man. He's a great man of faith. And I'll start there. He's a great man of faith. And if anybody in here wants to be able to find a great individual, a guy who does things the right way, look no further than David Cutcliffe. He's married to Karen Warren, formerly, and has 4 unbelievable children. And by the way, one of his son, now he is the grandfather, believe it or not, of 2 unbelievable young baby boys. So we're extremely happy about him. A wise man told me when I was a coach, even though I spent more time with him, that the athlete must leader or something. You must have an idea. You must be task-oriented. You must be flexible, situational, and have adaptability. Nimble. And 4, you must have passion and intensity. There's been a lot of references to baseball tonight. And I'd just like to say, as far as the baseball reference is concerned, I had to make the 1, 2, 3, and 4 mandatory about to hear this performance back 1,000. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce the head football coach of Duke University, and also a wonderful man and a great leader of our mentor, David Cutcliffe.
He didn't tell you this is the second time I've hired him. When I went to Duke, I hired him, and then a guy Mike Tomlin came and hired him away from me, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Mike didn't know it. I was doing everything I could for 3 years to figure out how to get Scotty back to Durham, and we're very fortunate to have Scotty Montgomery on our staff, and he's expecting, or well, Ebony's expecting child number 2 mid-June. So he's got a lot going on, but thank you, Scotty. That was very, very kind. I'm going to use the 3 B's in public speaking tonight. Y'all know those? Be brief, be funny, be seated. Where's Levi? Is he still here? Yeah, well, Levi, you know what I said to Levi when he walked away? I said, I will see you on American Idol soon. Exceptional people, exceptional careers. I'm sitting here celebrating money, and he's going to be trying to beat my brains in. Coach Candy, I'm going to talk about me out and mop the lawn. That's pretty close. It was absolutely one of the sharpest, brightest. I'm sure they're going to talk about it later. Head football coaches in America, what he's done at Navy has been incredible. I just hate having to play with him. I really hate it. It's very difficult, but congratulations, buddy. We've never managed to work together. We have been against each other a bunch, you know. So, but congratulations to all of you. It's been pretty special to see this night. And I gotta tell, I'm full of true stories. Y'all do know that. Full of them. Where's Phil Cherry? Where are you, Phil? You're in the room? Let me tell you about Phil. Phil, I met Phil and I thought we were good. You know, we were really tight. And I don't know if y'all know this about Phil. Phil loved really fancy cars. So he runs into me out recruiting and I'm busy. He said, Coach, you got to come see my new car. I said, Phil, I'm working. You've got to come see my new car. Well, I thought we were tight. So I said, all right. Well, we go out there and there's this shiny black machine. I mean, it's the kind of car that has no name. Okay? And we're walking toward it and Phil says, open. And it goes, shoo. Go in and just got this shiny brown leather interior, smells so good. Phil says, close. Those doors go airtight. And he says, start. It just cranks up. It's as smooth as silk. I'm like, this thing will drive itself. You remember that show, Night Rider? You know, I don't know what it's. So he puts it in gear, and here we go down the road, and I don't know, you can't hear anything. He said, Coach, you like music, don't you? I said, yeah, I love all kinds of music. He said, check this out. Beethoven. And all of a sudden, Fifth Symphony Orchestra, whatever it is, Beethoven's playing. And it's so good. And he said, Coach, I want you from Alabama. Let's see if you know your country music. And he says, Kenny Chesney. And all of a sudden, Kenny Chesney's playing. And this thing is just incredible. And we're riding down the road, and all of a sudden, some guy in a horrible-looking clunker pulls out. He's getting ready to hit us. I duck my head, and Phil, apparently, is a great driver, too. He weaves here, weaves there, makes the guy miss. I'm like, good gosh. And Phil looks back at the guy and says, you stupid son of a gun. Suddenly, the David Cutcliffe radio show came on. You figure out what he really thinks about it. Just a fact. Now, you know, when I took the Duke job, there was a lot of work to do. So, first day on the job in January, it's recruiting time, contact period. Man, I've got a day planned, but I got 5 flights, 6 cities. I'm seeing prospects at school, at home. I'm rocking, so at 4 o'clock in the morning, I get up in Miami, I eat oatmeal, give me a little workout, go to the airport, start my day, and I'm going city to city, flight to flight. Been through Atlanta about 3 times. Finally, it's about 9 o'clock at night. I got my last flight. First day on the job. I mean, I'm killing it. But the last flight, and I'm going down South Georgia. You know anything about South Georgia? It's not Albany, South Georgia. It's Albany. So I got a flight to Albany, Georgia. So I get on the plane, and here we go, take off, and we get a little over halfway down there, and the pilot comes on and says, folks, there's some serious fog moving into the Albany area. We're going to go make an approach, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to land. If we can't, we'll either divert to Pensacola or Tallahassee. Didn't want to hear that. Had a really good player, set for first thing in the morning. So we get there finally, and he comes over and says, folks, we're just barely going to beat this ball. Good news. We'll be able to get in just fine. So we land, and literally by the time we taxi to this little terminal, you can't see the terminal. You just see the lights. I mean, the fog is amazingly, you ever heard the term London fog? This is thick. So I get off the plane, outside steps, get my bags, I take a cab, and I'm going to downtown Albany. And the only motel was an old Holiday Inn. So by the time we get that long cab ride into town, it's about midnight. And I realized I hadn't had anything since that oatmeal at 4 o'clock. My stomach's growling, I check in. And as I'm going up the steps, I'm looking through the fog, and I can see the familiar yellow lights of a Waffle House. Oh, yeah. So I put my bag on the bed, and I go across this field, headed over, and I just use my lights as a beacon. And so I'm on track, and I get about halfway through this eerie fog in this field, and I can look around at my feet, and I realize, that's about 12:45 now, that I'm not in the middle of the field, I'm dead in the middle of the cemetery. Real dark, real eerie, real foggy. And I'm a big boy, but I picked up my pace a little bit. And in my haste, I'm beating to those lights. I fall on open grade. I'm knotted up, I got my suit on, I hit face first, and they've been lying all these years. They've been saying 6 feet. This is every bit of 8.5 feet. I'm stunned a little bit, I get up, and I can't get out. You can imagine how wet this mud is. I'm covered with mud, and I try, and I'm thinking, sit down and put that Alabama education into play here. So I sit down in the corner and I start thinking about the headline. New football coach found in open grave in South Dakota. All you Tar Heels will love that one. So I'm thinking about this, and I heard a noise that scared me a little bit. And I guarantee it was a guy going the same Waffle House, same path, falls in right in front of me. I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to sit and watch him how he gets out, and I'll get out. So I sit in my corner. He's over there, same thing, mud under his fingernail, he's panicking. I really am a pretty nice guy. So I'm getting ready to tell him, you know, hey, let's do this together. And I said, hey, he was up the moral of that true story is, motivation is what it's all about. It's crazy what you do. All right. Now I'm gonna give you all you. I got the enemy right here. I'm going to give you the secret to these quarterbacks. I want to hear it. Okay? Everybody's hunting. Dick, all these guys can throw the ball. Great coach there, Coach Dick for the team. Good to see you all. I'm hunting fast twitch thinkers. And where I got that was from the University of Alabama. It wasn't even Coach Bryant. It was an old boy I was going to school with. I'd become friends with. He'd been in Alabama 8 years seeking his undergraduate degree. He was having a great time. But the university finally decided it was your time to graduate. And you're going to get your GPA right, and you're going to get your hours right this semester, or you're finished forever. And he really did want his degree from Alabama. So it came down to one class he had to make an A in. It was a big old lecture class, 200 students in it. But he's worked, but now it finally comes down to the final. In the semester, he's got to make an A on the final to get an A in the course to graduate from the University of Alabama. So he really is studying. The problem is the book's this thick. It's a comprehensive essay exam. There's no A, B, C, or D. There's no guess. Comprehensive essay exam. So he prays and he studies and he's praying and studying the right thing. Test day comes, the professor comes in the room. 200 students sitting in a theater setting. He's right dead in the middle of the very back. The professor says, all right, got the test booklets here. I'm going to pass them out. Do not open them. This is a time test. You got exactly 50 minutes to take this test. No more. Everybody understands. My buddy, that much is fine. So he passes them out. He looks at his watch and he says, begin. My buddy turns to the first question. Thank goodness this is one he has studied. He knows it. He starts writing. Question 2, he's celebrating. He's right on target with what he has studied. Total focus. The only concern he said he had was he was sweating. He was so focused that he was going to mess up the booklet, sweating his brow over the paper. So he's going question after question, and then he gets to the last question. And he turns the page. He goes, this one, this, and that. So he really locks down now. He goes. He gets to the last part of the sentence, last sentence. He dots the period, looks up, and there's 199 tests. A disgusted professor standing in front of him. He said, young man, I have been saying times over for 4 minutes, I'm not accepting your test. I don't appreciate you ignoring me. That's an F. My friend said, oh no, professor, please, you don't understand. He said, you really don't understand. He said, oh, I understand. I said 50 minutes in a minute. It's an F. So my buddy goes down and he puts the test booklet right under the chin. And he tells this man, he said, you look at any one of these questions. First, last, middle, pick any. You will see it's perfection. It's an A. This is too important. The professor said, I told you this is an F. I'm not accepting your paper. So my buddy puts his hands on his hip. And he looks him right in the eye. He says, "Do you know who I am?" And that professor gets that weekly moment. Is this the president of the university, son? He's like, "Ooh, what's going on?" And the professor regains his composure, kind of perturbed by it all. He looks at my buddy and he says, "I have no idea who you are, nor do I care." Well, my buddy says, "Good." He goes over to that stack of 199 books. He puts his in the middle and runs out. What separates Hall of Fame? What's the difference? It certainly starts with the word attitude. It's a willingness to work. It is an attitude, a work ethic, a sense of team. I think one of the greatest things you could say about any athlete in any sport is to have been a great teammate. And I think all of these individuals tell you quickly they were just that, great teammates. On behalf of myself and I'm sure all the people here, look at this room, filled with gifts, as we would say in our absolutely an incredible commendation for certainly the community, but for also you four folks. I wrote down this: attitude just simply trumps talent. And I believe that. I've studied highly successful people all my life, and I've seen that time and time again, that all dreams have taken positive energy and great attitude to attain. And I'll tell you one little tidbit, and there's some young people in here, I want you to listen. From 15, I was 15. I was a little bit of an angry youngster, lost my father. I had great mentors. Coach asked me about that. I had a high school coach that saved my life. But a physics teacher did also. With a little simple high school physics theory that says P equals W over T. I don't know if any of you remember hearing that in physics. That simply is your power. Or the amount of power equals the amount of work that goes into something over a period of time. Well, that was meaningful to a 15-year-old young man. I put it in the terms of, in the next hour, if I can take a quantity of work and a quality of work, I couldn't change the hour. We all have the same amount of time. But the quality and the quantity of the amount of work that I can put in and get out of an hour, if it's greater than who I'm competing with, I've got a chance to be a Hall of Famer. I guarantee you, Sleepy Floyd played with some great talents, did you not? But you saw some come and go pretty quickly. They didn't understand that theory right there. They had great talents. We all watched them. And where did they go? Some of the maybe lesser talented, they were all talented, but some of the lesser talented understood. So I think that's really important. I'm going to share this poem that I really love called Do More. William Arthur Ward was a great writer out of Texas, and I love the simplicity of his thought process. The name of this poem is just Do More. Do more than belong, participate. Do more than care, help. Do more than believe, practice what you preach. Do more than be fair, be kind. Do more than forgive, forget. Do more than dream, work. Just simply do more. So for all four of you that have done more in your careers and your lives, the inductees tonight, congratulations for doing more. God bless. Thank you.
I think Coach Cutcliffe will be glad that I'm correcting that omission. One of the most electrifying football and basketball players to come out of Gaston County in several years, and a Duke football commitment. I would ask from Hunter Huss High School, Carrie and Moore, to please stand and be recognized. And now to the highlight of the evening, our induction ceremony, and we begin with the induction of Scott Crawford, and I call Mike McWhorter to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's see without these. Richard said I had 2 minutes. So I had 3? Okay, 3. 3 minutes to squeeze 43 years of a relationship that I've had with this man over here, Scott Crawford. First thing I'd like to say is that first time I ever went out to eat was in 1963. My daddy took me to the Hall of Fame back in Gaston County. Paul Bear Bryant was speaking. I want to commend the guys that got this thing back going. I think there was about a 20-year hiatus, and I can't tell you what an inspiration it is for the young kids and the young people in this community to see these guys like Scott and Sleepy, Francis, Buddy, come back and get these awards. Give somebody some drive to these guys, and I think sometimes we underestimate that. Take me 3 minutes to spell out all the awards that Scott Crawford's won. First team McDonald's All-American. As far as I know, he's the only Gaston County All-American that's ever come out of here. First team Sunkiss All-American. First team All-State. First team All-American at Lenore-Ryan, NAIA. Hall of Fame at Lenore-Ryan. Hall of Fame at Belmont. Living County guy right there. He was featured in Sports Illustrated twice. I don't know who's been featured in Sports Illustrated from Gaston County. Maybe John Roots. Tribal, East-West, all of those things. I met Scott Crawford in 1970, 43 years ago. I'd heard about him, but he was just a sophomore. When he came up, he was a junior. We consolidated to South Point, and I got to know Scott. I'm telling you this right now, he's the best football player to ever come out of this county, and not by just a little bit. I'm talking about a great, great deal. I've seen a lot of good ones. Coach Big, Coach Tate, Coach Huss, all you guys. I think everybody that has ever seen Scott Crawford play will tell you that he is by far the best football player Gaston County's ever seen. No doubt in my mind. But just like you said, Coach, Scott Crawford was a team player. The reason that every team that Scott Crawford played on didn't have the jealousy issue was, number one, he was so much better. It's hard to be jealous of somebody that's so much better. But he was a team player. He brought people together. And he did a great job at that. He was a very, very unselfish player. Maybe as good a defensive player as he was an offensive player. He was a man amongst the boys. I became a regular over in Baltimore. He's pulling. Let me just say the most important thing that I've got to say after talking about his awards. I was talking to Scott about his induction. And we know that his legacy with the fans will be about what a great football player he was. And that's okay. But in my opinion, and those of you who have gotten to know Scott as he's matured, know that he's become a great man. The great thing about life is that it's a little bit like football. It's got at least 4 quarters. Scott's taking advantage of the 4th quarter. He's a servant. He loves people. He's a godly man. When he got saved, he radically changed. He's closer than a brother to me. And I love you, Scott Crawford. I love Scott Crawford's family. If you guys knew him like I knew him, you'd love him just like I did. Scott.
I'd like to thank Field Chair and the Hall of Fame Committee. I'd also like to thank Gaston and Lizette for being here tonight. I'd like to congratulate the fellow inductees. I'd like to thank my family for just being there for me throughout the years. I'd like to thank the teachers over Gaston County, dating way back to Old Reed High, Old Cramerton, South Point, the professors at Lenore Ryan. I would like to thank the coaching staffs at Cramerton. You guys know who you are. The coaches at South Point, coaches at Lenore Ryan, my teammates, and all my friends. Now, obviously, you guys must be my friends. I don't even know half of you, but I know my friends. Of course you do. And I just like to share. Oh, yeah. Michael Porter. I met this man 40-some odd years ago, and I'd like to say thank you to the late Joe McQuarrie and the entire McQuarrie family. They welcomed me in, and I appreciate it. It made me a man today. I mean, years ago, you wouldn't see a lot of black people, white people all mingled in, black over here, white over here, black restroom, white restroom. This family right here taught me to be unconditional love. Unconditional. And I want to share something with you. I want to get out your way for a second. I want to take a few minutes. It says right here, your life is your time. Our lives are governed by time. That's why we're surrounded by clocks, calendars that dictate our activities. As minutes tick by, we wonder where the day went. When responsibility and presence mount, we complain. I just don't have enough time to get it all done. But in reality is, God has allowed us a certain amount of time. Jesus was here for 33 years, and he only spent 3 years doing his messianic duties according to what God had placed on him. With this award, it's finished for me. Just like Jesus said on the cross, it's finished. This right here finishes my career. So what I'm questioning you is, would you rather spend your time with a vapor that comes and goes, or would you rather spend your time with everlasting life, which is hereafter? Thank you very much.
induction of Francis Essic, and I would like Mike Spargo to come forward and introduce him.
Thank you. I have been warned. I have to keep everything within a few moments. So, honored guests, officers of the Gaston County Sports Hall of Fame, and inductees. It's great to see you all here tonight. I have one question before I begin, Coach. Did Forrest Gump graduate from Alabama? In 1969, I met Francis Essic. He came to the radio station for an interview, which I was very glad to give. He was business manager for the Carolina Cougars. I got to know him over the couple of years that he was there, and I had infinite respect for the man. I watched him do things and be things and expose himself to people and help people like nobody I'd ever seen before. But, you know, I could get into this and go, and I had told him I prepared for 15 minutes. He's telling me I got 3. So I've got to combine some things. Let me tell you a story about combination. Grandfather and a grandson in a grocery store. Grandson's in the cart. Grandfather's pushing it. They go down the candy aisle. The baby says, let me. The grandfather says, it's all right, William. No problem, William. Be patient, William. They go down the cookie aisle. I need. And the grandfather says, it's okay, William. We'll be home in only a few minutes. Well, finally, he gets out to the car. And he's loading everything up. And a lady who had seen this go on pulls up beside him. And she says, you're an amazing man. I've never seen such patience. William is such a great child, and he has such a great grandfather. And the man says, thank you, but I'm William. After I got to know Francis, he asked me to do a speech one time at Victory Junction. We drove up there, and as we went, I asked him questions about himself. He drove me by some school campuses. I had no idea. I knew that he had a sports job. I knew that he was business manager for the Carolina Cougars. I knew this man was a fantastic fellow, but I had no idea he had been a coach. Honest Injun. I didn't know. I didn't know he had played baseball. I didn't know he'd married his wife on a baseball diamond. I didn't know anything about Francis Essic other than the quality of the character of the man that everybody seemed to know. When we got to Victory Junction, people stopped him. He must have known 50 people by name. He asked them about the club. He asked them about their marriage, their children. He knew everything about it. And I was amazed by this man. He should be called Mr. Civitan because he's held every position, including president of Civitan International. Halls of Fame, he's being inducted tonight. But it's not new to him. Pfeiffer College, Hall of Fame. Davidson College, Hall of Fame. Surrey County, Hall of Fame. A patriot. I'll use that word and hope you don't get audited by the IRS. He has received a good conduct medal, 5 battle stars, special award from the French government, and a presidential citation. There is something that makes this man unique. What makes Francis unique is that cold steel character that you're going to find so rare in anybody other than a leader, just like the man who left here a moment ago. Only a leader has that in them. I don't know how they get it. I don't know where you buy it, but I know it certainly is in Francis Essic in abundance. In order to stay within time, I'm going to read something that was in a paper you probably read by one of Coach Essic's students and one of his players, Dr. Thomas Kuntz, retired surgeon, played baseball and basketball under Essic at North Davidson High School. He says, quote, as long as this country has men like Coach Essic as mentors and role models for young men, the failure of our country is not there. The future is bright. He is a natural-born leader, truly inspirational. I know he changed my life, and I know he's done that for many other young men. When you have the chance to look at the life of Francis Essic, I invite you to do so. Like me, you'll be impressed, but not surprised. He fully deserves this award for what he's done in sports, for all the things he's accomplished and all the effects that he's had on athletics. But he deserves so much more, in my opinion, for what he's done for humanity, for the way he's benefited people. I give to you, ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you the exceeding joy I feel when I introduce to you the next gentleman to receive an award and become a member of the Hall of Fame, John Francis Essic.
I don't know how much time I have, but you remember Valvano making a speech about the Raising for Cancer Fund, and they told him he had so much time, and he said, back there, look at that guy, tell me I have 30 seconds, and here I am with cancer, and don't know how long I have to live. He said, I'm not worried about that man. Well, I'll try not to be that man. Thank you, Mike. Mike and I have been friends since '69. He was in charge of several radio stations throughout the area and was located in Belmont. I'd trade him box seat tickets for the Cougar game for time on his radio stations in order for us to promote the Cougars. Little did we know that in years to come, we would live in the same neighborhood, about a block apart, and go to the same church. Mike, you are a great friend, and thank you for all the kind remarks. I would also like to thank the selection committee. You honor me, you humble me, I'm truly grateful. And I'm honored to be inducted with these three outstanding worthy men, and I compliment each one of them. I would like to recognize some guests. And I'm just going to say, stand up when I call your name. I'd like to recognize my wife. If we make it until July the 4th, she's going to put up with me for 66 years. And if you've seen on the short, you know we got married at home plate. I didn't think her mother would agree to it, but she did. And then a daughter, Martha Williams, stand up, and her husband David, who now is in charge of the store. My granddaughter, Tracy Harvin, who teaches at Gaston Day School, and her husband Scott. And then the apple of our eye. Anastasia Harvin, who is going to be a junior at Gaston Day, and Jackson Harvin, who is going to be a 7th grader at Gaston Day, and he's our sportsman. He's the baseball player. And there's another gentleman sitting at our table that I want to recognize because we go back to 1942. We were freshmen together at Appalachian. We were both there on basketball, baseball scholarships. And that first year, he played and I cheered. Now that was basketball. Baseball was a little bit different. But Sam Moyer, stand up. College, and after the war, we were roommates back in Appalachian. We were best men at each other's weddings. We coached against each other. He was at Mount Airy. We tried our best to beat each other, but when the game was over, we were still best friends. We came to Catawba the same year I went to Pfeiffer, and we did the same thing over and over and over again. But throughout all those years, there's the man that's been our best friend, and we treasure his friendship. There are others here special. I'm not going to take time because of the time. I don't have to call all the names. There's a table over there. There's a table right And then there's a sportsman's club table over here, and thank you gentlemen for coming, and so many others. Well, thank all of you for coming. I want to take just a minute to go quickly through. I started coaching at East Bend. I coached 4 months there to fill in because the principal died, and the coach got drunk, and they chased him off, and my mother had taught school in that county for years and years, and they came to Appalachian and talked me into coming there and coaching until baseball season started at Mount Airy, where I was going to be the manager. And so I was the only male on the faculty, and I didn't know what I was doing. But after that season, back to graduate school, Sam and I finished graduate school the same year, and I went, quit pulling on me. Sam went to Mount Airy, and I went to Welcome. Now, the next year after Welcome, where we won a state championship, we consolidated into North Davidson, and Sam and I coaching against each other again. I'll cut out some of this stuff. Then he went to Catawba the same year I went to Pfeiffer, and we coached against each other again. I think I said that before. But let me tell you, at Welcome we won a state championship, but you know why? Because we had the best basketball player in North Carolina, and he was voted so. And I'll say this, the coach is just as good as the players he has. You're no better. I'll give you an example. The first year I went to Pfeiffer, we were 4-22. The next year we were a little bit better, but 4-22, I'm surprised they kept me another year. But then it got a little better. The best year we had there was 21-9, but we finished second to High Point. They didn't lose a game all year. Then there was another outfit there. If you coach basketball at Pfeiffer, they let you coach golf. And I have here a guest of ours here, Bobby Lisk, stand up, and his wife, Sandra. Bobby lives in Lenore now. He was on the first golf team I had at Pfeiffer, along with George Kumsky, who runs the International School of Golf up in Pennsylvania, and he goes to Florida in the wintertime. And another golfer who was assistant pro at some places, but he found out he could make more money selling Johnston Murphy shoes, and he did that. Now the poor boy lives down in Orlando and is a member at Bay Hill. But let me tell you about Bobby. He was also an assistant pro at Linville. Folks, he was also an assistant pro at Augusta National for several years. That's how I got to play there. Now, I would love to tell you the story about going down there to play, but he's pulling on my coattail. I can't do it. Well, in '69, I went over to Charlotte with Carolina Cougars. Jim Gardner calls it a ball club in Houston and bring it to North Carolina. Like you do the Charlotte part of it, we're going to play in Greensboro, Charlotte, and Raleigh. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I went over there. And I learned to know that I can't work with professional people, although stayed there until he sold the club to a guy from Georgia who wanted to have his own people, and I don't blame him. But that's how I got to know Mike and an awful lot of you. But after that, we made the most important move of our lives. We came to Gaston. Carson Sporting Goods was for sale, and a friend of mine told me about it, and we ended up buying it. And as it happened, that's when the ball club was Cougars were sold. The only thing I knew about Gaston was I had a distant cousin here that I'd seen about 5 or 6 times in my lifetime. I knew there were 22 traffic lights from east to west on Franklin Boulevard. We used to bet when we were traveling there whether we'd make them all or how many we'd make. If all players would have a bet. Nobody ever won, I don't think. But we did know where Tony's Ice Cream was, because the first team at Wingate had a boy from Gastonia, and when we were going to Brevard and Mars Hill, Leeds McRae and North Greenville and Gardner Webb and Spartanburg, you never got through Gastonia without stopping at Tony's. And I'd take the boys in and they'd buy something, and then Tony would give me mine. Well, it turned out this business we bought was across the street from there. And I went over one day and I said, Tony, now, he He said, what are you doing in here, Coach? And I said, well, I own the business right across the street. I'm going to be working here all the time. I want to know, do I still get free food? And you know what? He turned me down. Now, so I'm going to turn this back to you. I'm sorry I took too much time. Thank you again for this honor. I'm almost... All right, our third inductee is Buddy Green, and we call Todd Green forward to introduce him. Todd, please come forward.
I really appreciated Coach Cutcliffe's story about his friend that took 8 years to graduate Alabama because it took me about 7 to get through Tennessee. And a lot of that was his fault because it was the years that they would win the national championship and Peyton Manning was there. And if you know anything about the SEC, when the football team's on a roll, you don't study. So I appreciate it. It's an honor for me to be here. Tonight, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about my dad. Most of you know his exploits on the ball fields here in Gaston County. A lot of you probably followed his career as a coach. What I'd really like to do is give you a sense of what he's like as a person. The most obvious thing to anyone who knows him well is that he's the most kind and compassionate person you'll ever meet. He goes out of his way to help people, often complete strangers, and he treats all people with respect. The way he treats people in his kind and generous nature, he got this from his mother, my grandmother, Granny Green, who's in that house tonight. Granny? From what I understand, he also got his athletic genes from his mom, Granny Green. When I was just a kid, we used to go and visit, and we'd play 21 and basketball 1-on-1. She would school me. I mean, she did not. She had so much of a competitive nature that she did not take it easy on me one bit. And I guess I got my athletic genes from my mom, who's in the audience right there. Thank you, Mom. When I was from what I hear, the referees and the umpires and the officials in Gaston County, they weren't too kind of Granny Green sitting at that table because she was fired up when she went to my dad's games. To understand my dad, you should know how much our family values education. We're a family of teachers. My mom, Sharon, has been a teacher. I've taught a few years in my career. My dad started off as a teacher. My sister is a teacher. My aunt, Carol, sitting over there, has been a career teacher. And then also, what is coaching if not teaching? And that's one of the things that our family's always been about. And a good story I would tell you guys about being at the Naval Academy for the last few years is one of his former players came up to me, who's a Marine right now, and he just graduated, got his commission in the Marines. He was getting ready to go off to TBS, the big school, in Quantico, Virginia, where they really do their really tough Marine training before they become officers in their first assignment in the Marines. And he came up to me and he said that these guys, when they report to the school, they meet with the guy who's going to be their commanding officer and put them through this rigorous training. And he said the first thing they do when they go there is they sit down with that commanding officer and he kind of gives them an entrance interview and they ask him questions and talk to him and whatnot. And he said the first question this guy asked him when he sat down for that interview was, what was it like to play defense for Coach Green at Navy? And so the influence that he has had, just you think about the amount of time, the amount of people that he's come across throughout the years, the amount of people he's coached, the influence he's had, it's just unbelievable. But that story really says a lot about what it's like to be at the Naval Academy. If there's one last thing I would tell you about my dad, it's that he is just a simple man that loves his family. His greatest joy in life comes from holding his 2-year-old granddaughter, Quinn. He's had an amazing career, but at the end of the day, I think he would tell you that the only thing that really matters in this world is the people that you love. My dad has quite a few people that love him, and a lot of them are in the room today. For me to be here tonight introducing him for the Hall of Fame is the greatest honor of my life. Thank you. That's how much he means to me. And so without further ado, my dad, Coach Green, Buddy Green.
Oh man, it's hard to follow when your son is speaking, and that's nice. My son, I could brag about him all day long. I only have 5 minutes, so I'll try to make it very quick. But he's the star of the family. Coach Diamantolola hired him about 5 years ago from Arkansas. Been national video coordinator of the year in independent schools, runner-up, best video of the year, highlight film, runner-up to West Virginia. He's taken us to another level at the Naval Academy, and he is as good as there is in the business. And a special thanks to Coach Diamantolola. I am privileged to work for the best in the business, and Todd was talking about love and about people, someone that cares. There's no better man, no better person than my head coach, my boss, Coach Diamantolola. And I am so grateful that he came here tonight. That's the kind of man that he is, and I appreciate it very greatly. There's a lot of people that I had to thank. I'm going to thank the Gaston County Hall of Fame for this honor. First of all, it's you know, I'm very humbled. You know, I want to say embarrassed for this award, but very humbled for this. And I have a short period of time. I don't want to recognize a lot of people, because a lot of people just recognize that have influenced my life. Number one, my wife, Sharon, sitting right here. You know, she has been my biggest supporter, and I've not done anything without her. Coach's wife for over 30 years. She gets mad when I say over 30 years. She said it tells my age or our age. But, you know, a coach's wife, there's some good times, there's some bad times. You know, a lot of Hail Marys, a lot of close games. But she's been my best friend, my soulmate. She's been there for me. And I've not accomplished anything without her support. My sisters are here. These people that I'm mentioning, by the way, they're my Hall of Fame. And I would not, if I don't have the time to mention the people here, because they've been my Hall of Fame in my life. My sisters, Carol, her husband Randy, Irene, her husband Devon, the most positive two people a brother, you know, could ever have growing up. A tremendous influence in my life. My brother Mac, we lost him at age 39 to cancer. He was the best athlete in the family. We competed every day. You talk about compete, we got after each other every day. Battled basketball, football, baseball, it didn't matter. We played, and I miss him every day, every day. My Aunt Jill Stroop is here tonight at the table. Her husband, James Stroop, Polk Stroop, that a lot of people know, was Mayor of Stanley for a long time, but more than that, he's my uncle. We talked about coming to the banquet here to see Bear Bryant. I was there. Uncle James brought me to a lot of those Hall of Fame banquets where we had some great speakers. My cousins, Becky, her husband, Ed Thompson is here. Also my cousin Elizabeth is here. Great influence. The closest of our families was a big part of it. Johnny Russell and his family, and I want to mention the fact that Johnny Russell and Ed Thompson, two guys that were 4 years ahead of me, were great role models for me. They were guys that every day were trying to emulate what they would do because they were such great people as far as leaders. Linda Sherrill, daughter of my high school coach, Coach Dick Thompson, a great influence in my life, is here. And I want to mention, I know Coach Cutcliffe mentioned Dick and Dottie Portee, friends of mine since I convinced them to come from Maryland, I think 1985 or 25 years ago. We battled each other recruiting on the road and finally got him to join us at NC State. And Dick is one of the best teachers that's ever been around the business, and Dottie, great friends of our family. All the members of the Stanley High School Blue Devils, where we went undefeated. I hope I saw a lot of you here tonight. If you're here, please stay in, because actually, you know, we had this thing at the Naval Academy. It's not about me, and definitely not. We had a great time. Now, Coach Cutcliffe, we had a very complicated offense. We're Jimmy Bumgarner. I think the quarterback, I looked at Jimmy, and he would kind of nod. That meant slant. And I think I'd hit Steve Skidmore on the butt, and he would snap it real quick, no sound, and bam, here we go. And I think Don Calvert would kind of twitch his head, or maybe, you know, rattle his face mask, and that was another check. But we weren't very complicated, but we rolled, and it was a great time, a lot of fun with those guys. A lot of those guys are here tonight. Buzz Bumgarner is here. His wife, Glenda, he was my Pop Warner coach, an excellent teacher, a hard-nosed guy. He'd kick you in the butt in a heartbeat, very hard-nosed. Neb Hollis, my high school principal. Is Coach Hollis here? I think he was, yeah, there he is, Coach Hollis. He was my high school principal, but more importantly, he was a Legion baseball coach. He made me the bat boy. He put me behind the plate as a 7th grader, catching batting practice for the 18-year-old guys in the Belmont Legion baseball team, and I loved it. I mean, he let me compete. I mean, I was growing up among guys that were 18 years old, and, you know, I was an 8th grader, and it was, I loved it. And he gave me a lot by doing that. Phil Tate, is Coach Tate here? Coach Tate hit more fungo till his hands bled, and to me, gave me a nickname as Pedro, but he was a great teacher to me as a baseball player. I've been blessed in many ways in my life. Tremendous influences. Pat Dye, Dick Sheridan, Sammy Esposito, a lot of coaches I had a chance to work for. No greater than Coach Neil Matalola. He's the best that I've been around. However, it all started to me in my childhood days, and I will be through very, very quickly. I lived across the street from the baseball field since I was 5 years old. I lived at that baseball field from sunup to sundown. Dick Thompson was the head football coach who's now in the Hall of Fame. He instilled a lot of things in me, and most of them were work ethic that was as good as gold. He'd say, get a haircut, tuck in your shirt, hustle, run, effort, details, little things were most important. We had meetings at his house on Thursday night before football games with his high school football coach. At those meetings, he'd show a little 8mm film. He'd show me notes and notes and notes of the opponent, and we would watch it and study and get ready to game on Friday night. All the teaching, the requirements, the demands, everything that he put on us was hard, but they were supported by one person, and that was my mom, Margaret Green. If Coach would say, get a haircut, Coach would say, do this, Coach would say, do that, my mom would simply say, do it. And that was the bottom line. She worked 2 jobs. She never missed a game. She was the most loving, generous individual I have ever known in my life. She was absolutely the best. My biggest memories, like I said, was there was no discussion. If the coach says, do it, you get it done. And that was my mom. Had total support. At an early age, I understood that Coach knows best. And it started at home with my mom. I could never, ever, ever repay my mom for the foundation that she gave me as a kid. And I'll close very, very quickly. And my mom, Margaret Green, is here. There was a story about a Navy pilot that got shot down over Vietnam. And the parachute worked, and he was safely, he was captured, but years later released. And he was honored on a ship. And he walked on the ship, and there was a sailor that came up to this Navy pilot, and he stopped. He introduced himself as the guy that packed that parachute. And it hit that captain right there, that pilot. That, wow, this is the guy that saved my life. You know, I thought I did something really special. I ejected from the plane, and the parachute worked, and this is the guy that saved my life, the guy that passed the parachute. I never knew who he was until I met him. He was a young sailor on that ship. I have been lucky that a lot of people that I just mentioned in this room were packing that parachute for life for me. Very, very lucky. In fact, a lot of parachutes that took care of me, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Benjamin Hinton is here to introduce him. Reverend Hinton.
God bless you. When you say Reverend Lee, that means you think it's time for a sermon, right? And my sermon for tonight is, no, I'm not here to preach. To our distinguished MC, to Coach Cutcliffe, to all of our dais, and to all of the distinguished guests here tonight, all of the inductees, former and current inductees tonight. I have an esteemed honor and privilege to introduce a great player, a game changer, one who by the criminals called a impact player. I'm honored tonight when Sleepy called me and asked if I would do this tonight. I said, well, let me check with my cheerleader, which is my wife. I said, that's my anniversary night. I'll get back with you. I may be able to pull some strings and get something happen, make something happen. So I was able to pull some strings, so I got to say happy anniversary to my wife first before I do anything. To Cherry and all of the Hall of Fame committee, I am privileged tonight, I'm honored tonight to present, as I said, a game changer. Let me just give you some highlights of this great game changer, this impact player. Sleepy, or Eric Sleepy Floyd, led Hunter High School in its first 1997 in its dramatic win over cross-town rival Ashbrook and his star and fellow Gaston Sports Hall of Famer James Worthy. In his college career, Floyd was deemed among the greatest players in collegiate history at Georgetown University and is known as the most prolific scorer at Georgetown. He played under George Thompson. He led the Hoyas in scoring for 4 years in a row, 1979 to 1982. First player to score 1,000 points as a sophomore. He was a member of the inaugural All-Big East team in 1980. He scored a school record 2,304 points in his career and averaged 17.7 points a game and added 253 assists. He was NCAA unanimous first team All-American in 1982, named to 1982 All-NCAA tournament team at 47. He was the youngest basketball alumnus in the Georgetown Athletic Hall of Fame, having been enshrined in 2002. In his NBA career, he was selected by the New Jersey Nets in the first round in 1982 NBA draft. He was the 13th pick overall. On May 10, 1987, Floyd made NBA history in one of the greatest single playoff performances ever seen. He still holds the NBA playoff record for points scored in a quarter, 29 and 39 in a game, 4 of the 1987 Western Conference. He played for the New Jersey Nets, the Golden State Warriors, the Houston Rockets, and the San Antonio Spurs during a 13-year pro career. But beyond the glory, beyond basketball, I want to introduce a great man who's a giver. He has given back to his church, the Tabernacle Baptist Church, where he was brought up, he was nurtured, where he received the foundation for his faith and for life, and that is at the Tabernacle Baptist Church. He gave back. He built a ramp there at the church. In 1995, after I came here, we were in the process of building a family life center. He understood the joy of giving back. He gave back to help see that life center completed. In 1995, my wife and I went to Houston, Texas for a convention, and to let you know his selflessness, he came by the hotel, picked us up, took us by his favorite restaurant. He dined us and then took us back. He let us know, listen, beyond the glory, I'm still human. I never forgot my foundation. One thing I can say about this young man is no matter where he's gone around the world, around the country, he never forget the foundation. He's never forgotten his family, his God, and his community. So I want to salute tonight this 2013 inductee, our friend, our member, a unique brother, Mr. Eric Sleepy Floyd.
Gaston is home. I mean, this is a great evening. I'm so happy to be here. I want to say thank you to the Hall of Fame, the Gaston, Kazette, all the other inductees tonight, family and friends. I'm truly honored. But I need to honor you, Gaston County, for giving me the foundation like Pastor just mentioned. There was no way I could go wrong. I was surrounded by so much positive influence in my life, on and off the basketball court. It was amazing. There was no way that I could fail when I left Gaston. It was impossible. It was all set up. It was all set up by Terry Chisholm. Stand up, Terry. Troop 17, Boy Scout leader. My wife, Mamie, he would come and pick me up. We go to Boy Scout meetings. I never became an Eagle Scout, but I probably could do the same. But thank you so much. This is a night, because I got all the people in my life here that has helped me along. And I can thank all of you guys now. Because over the years, a lot of times you don't get an opportunity to do that. So I'm going to take this opportunity tonight to thank my Uncle Bobby. Can you stand, please? My first basketball coach at Ireland Junior High. And I don't know if I made the team because he was my uncle. I don't know if that has something to do with it. But I know we went 14-0, and we kicked a lot of butt. So thank you. I mean, I was just surrounded by so many people. My Uncle Ron, stand up. That's my dad's brother. Don't you love that sweet? I know that. My Aunt Mary, my Aunt Murray, Aunt Larissa. I mean, guys, I could not go wrong. The Guthrie family, the Floyd family, Tabernacle Baptist Church. You know, James and I, there was no way that we wouldn't excel. The only thing we did, we didn't have computers back in the day. We played ball. We didn't get in trouble. We didn't do drugs. We didn't drink alcohol. The only thing we wanted to do was get in that gym and play. I remember growing up, we didn't have a basketball court. Laying in our room on Lennox Street, balling up notebook paper. Put the trash can against the wall, laid on my back and banged notebook paper in the trash can. When you have the love of the game like that, you can't shake it. I have some great friends, Vincent Brooks. Stand up. He knows what I'm talking about. We have some great role models. Thomas Wilson, a guy by the name of Tree. A lot of people in this room don't know these names, but these are guys that used to come by and pick us up when we were young kids. Take us to the gym. I had my grandmother lived at Irwin Center. My Aunt Mert was around the corner. My Uncle Bill was down the street. Terry Chisholm was here. I mean, there was no way I could go to get in trouble. I had eyes all around. And so I just wanted to thank everyone. If I left anyone out, I apologize. My beautiful daughter there. Corey, can you stand up? She threw me a curveball and went to Carolina. She's a sophomore at Carolina and doing an amazing job of running track there. And never seen someone so focused, so organized. There's not a day go by when you're not at school that I don't think about you. Every night, every morning, waiting for you to call. I know when I went off to college, I very rarely called my parents either, so I'm not going to hold that against you. But a quick story about Corey. She ran track last year. She did great academically. She's in Carolina med school. But her first year in track didn't go the way she wanted. She called me crying up, like, Corey, it's breaking my heart. So kind of this year, I was like, Corey, if you don't want to do it, because I played collegiate basketball. I know the dedication, the hours. When your other student mates are socializing, you're practicing, you're studying, you have no social time whatsoever. And I want her to enjoy the college experience. So I was kind of leaning on like, I hope Corey, you know, just stops the track and enjoy what college has to offer. But she's determined like I am. She's determined like her mother. And what you have achieved this year is amazing on the track field. Because when you go into college, and I had a guy when I first went to Georgetown, he was the All-American player at Georgetown. So when I went up there and I found this down with Georgetown, he put me to the side. He was one of those streetwise kids from D.C. And he said, yo, Sleep, come on, let me talk to you, let me talk to you. His name was Baby. And great player, D.C. legend. He pulled me to the side. He said, this is my show. You do what I say, and then you'll be okay. Basically, take my lead. But he didn't know I was from Gaston County. He didn't know the foundation and the work ethic that had been taught. And we don't verbalize it. Look, I'll show you on the court. I don't have to verbalize it. Coach Thompson sit us down one of our first meetings as a freshman. He says, we had 2 All-Americans on the team. Baby was one of them. And he was like, these are the 2 stars on the team. These are the 2 All-Americans. The rest of you are complimentary players. That's how this team is going to go. And I sit there and I listen to Coach Thompson. In the back of my mind, I'm telling myself I'm not a complimentary player. I worked too hard. My talents, I felt was strong enough to be a star player. But you don't talk to Coach. Coach Thompson was 6'10", 300 pounds. You don't talk back. So I just kept it to myself, and I proved it to them. And for the young players out there, that's what you got to do. You can't verbalize it. No one will believe it. You got to show them on the court, on the football field, on the baseball field. Coach Thompson, I've always been surrounded by great coaches, great motivators, for whatever reason. You know, I played under Coach Green in high school. Going to Georgetown was a blessing. Was a blessing. The first day of practice, you had to go to the track and run a 5-minute, a mile. Not a 5-minute mile, but a mile in a certain amount of time. And shoot, I used to run Crowder's Mountain up and down twice without stopping. So I wasn't phased. So I'm leading, we start the mile. And I come around, I'm in first. Coach Thompson sitting in a chair with a stopwatch. Everybody's behind me now. I don't know, almost lapped everybody. Coach Thompson says, everybody made it but Sleepy. Sleepy, you got 30 seconds. Everybody else made it but Sleepy. You got 30 seconds. You need to run it quicker, faster. Man, don't challenge me. I'm too competitive. As tired as I was, as fast as I ran that first mile, I took it as a challenge. I said, Coach, I don't need 30 seconds. I'm ready now. Took off. I ran it faster than I ran the first time. Now, I fell out after the second time. Don't lie. But it was a challenge. But what he was doing, he saw much more in me. And he felt he can push me forward. He wasn't satisfied that I ran the fastest mile before everyone. He said, this is a guy that I can push. And he had really never had a player like me before. Because we played every day, we practiced every day. I was so motivated and organized in my workouts that when I got to Georgetown, he was amazed. He didn't know I was as good as I was at the time. Because Coach Thompson never saw me play in high school. Never came to a high school game. Big house games from Winston-Salem State, one guy you know who I'm talking about, called Coach Thompson. Said, Coach Thompson, you got to come down here and see this kid. He hasn't signed yet. He's about to sign. They saw him in some North Carolina All-Star game. He calls Coach Thompson. Coach Thompson flies down. He walked in Irving Center. Saw me play a pickup game for 20 minutes. Walked out. Flew all the way from D.C., watched me play for 20 minutes at Irving Center. And he said, I want you to come up and visit. He said he'd seen all he needed to see. 20 minutes. Now, I got a lot of flack because at that time, Georgetown wasn't on the national scene just yet, on a national scale. Up north, they were pretty prominent. And I ended up signing while I was up there. But I've always been blessed to be around great coaches, great motivators, great friends, Dino Russell, Walker Reed. I have great friends here, Axel, Doug, Lorna, Phyllis. And I'm blessed, and I'm honored to be from Gaston. Because there was no way I was not going to succeed. So tonight, I want to thank Gastonia, everyone here, for watching out for my generation. I mean, you got Dino Russell, Walker Reed, all these successful people that was our generation. We were blessed to have been born in Gaston. I've traveled the world. Basketball has allowed me to travel the world. I lived in San Francisco, I lived in DC, I've been in Brazil, Paris, France. I mean, this place is special. The people in this room are special. So I'm honored. I know we've been trying to do this for a few years, and I just think this year the time was right for me. And it's amazing. I wish my dad. So I want to thank you for supporting me. You know I'm not a Duke of Carolina. Y'all still supporting me at Georgetown. That's how special Gaston is. Thank you very much.
What a fantastic evening, and it is just great. And I would ask for a final round of applause for Scott Crawford, Francis Essex, Buddy Green, Aaron. Cutcliffe, we thank you for your wonderful remarks. Everyone, have a good evening. We hope to have safe travels home, and we hope to see you next year. Thank you.
Just like you love Cherryville sports, Cherryville has a hometown skilled nursing facility that loves their work too. Peak Resources Cherryville, where caring comes to life. For a tour of Peak Resources Cherryville, call us at 704-435-6029 or just stop by. Located off Delview Road at 700 Self Street in Cherryville. And we'd love to meet you. Peak Resources Cherryville, providing exceptional nursing and rehabilitation care at Cherryville. Again, phone 704-435-6029. For Peak Resources Cherryville.